What's up, guys? All right, and just like that, we have a lot to talk about. This is Wednesday morning here in Sydney, 7 a.m. Wherever you are tuning into the world, welcome. Let's get into it. We have. I woke up this morning with Bet365. So I know Bet365 is a betting app that a lot of the Americans use. I've been using a lot down here in Sydney due to picking money line winners. The draw on Bet365 doesn't destroy your parlay; it just voids the bet. So Bet365 has options. There's fights in Japan tonight. There's fights tomorrow in Africa. We could start there. We also have fights, Dana White Contender Series. That starts in a few hours. Guys, what's up, Tyler? Join the Discord. The link for the Discord is pinned in the comment section below. It's a couple bucks a month. In the Discord, I've already given you my Dana White Contender Series picks. It's a 5-legger, so we're going to get into that. Hey, Johnny, I've been trying to reach you. I bought your book and I'm having an issue with the shipping. Yeah, so Bum Equipment. The books are with my publisher, mate. I appreciate you buying the book. Maybe send me an email. It's depending on what book you bought. My first book, Ungoogleable, the publisher's out of America. My most recent book, the publisher's out of Melbourne. So maybe, yeah, it's not on my end, mate. I barely make any money off selling books, by the way. I always tell people if you want to be being a published author, it sounds sexy on paper, but it has to be a passion project. I only made a couple $1,000 selling 2 books, so yeah. Sorry about that. Maybe send an email. I don't know who you ordered it from. Boxing fan, what's up, guys? So as you're tapping in, let me know where you're coming in from. If you follow me on Instagram, appreciate you, Bum. If you follow me on Instagram, I just posted the odds for Africa, the odds for Japan. We have a lot to talk about. The card in Scotland, which is exciting. I'm currently uploading Lorente versus Collins right now. I have on the channel already. You're already gonna have my breakdown for Hutchinson and Jeffers is already up there. And like I said, in the Discord, if you want to play a little action on the Contender Series, those picks are up. There's a American football. I don't break American football down, but I hit a 20-1 yesterday. A little anytime touchdown score in the Denver game. I took Mims Jr. and Bo Nix to score a touchdown. Just sprinkled a little bit on it, 20-1. We're gonna find our victories, guys. We're gonna find it. Not, in a total non-degenerate way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. If you're a football fan, watch football. And if you're a football fan, there's a football Discord in our Discord. But remember, it's a boxing spirited Discord, so that's why you're going to see the live streams with me talking about boxing more than anything. So I've been watching a lot of back and forth on the Glanton versus Brown fight. So we could start there. We could start in Japan. I'll leave it open to you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you guys are getting options. There's 2 fights tonight. Ikagawa versus Hosokawa. That's on Bet365. That fight starts in about 7 hours, 4 p.m. in Australia. It's a 50-50 fight, and the odds look pretty good. Same thing with Oguni versus Luangfan. And those odds look good, 262 and 144. So if we play our cards right, if we play the 2 fights tonight in Japan, and we go 2 for 2. What I like to do with this midweek boxing is take the winnings from the midweek boxing. Don't start too heavy. And then roll it over. And then we have Africa tomorrow, and then we can make a lot of our money in Scotland. So, we could just start there. If you pull the box rec up real quick of the card in Japan, you got Ikagawa versus Hosokawa. So Jun Ikagawa, he's 8-1. He has 2 draws, 2 knockouts. So these are, Japanese fighter, 27-year-old southpaw. He's fighting Hosokawa, who's 9-1. Whatever BoxRec's doing on their website, man, I don't like it. They have some sort of like Sonic Sonic the Hedgehog marketing on their website. BoxRec's website has been shit lately. It's filled with pop-up ads and it's slow. It's pretty awful, to be honest with you. So Henshin Osagawa was 9-1 with 6 knockouts, but he's only 22. He doesn't. I'm always hesitant when fighters don't have a profile picture on BoxRec. It's kind of similar if you're dealing with trolls online and somebody's run their mouth to you and they don't have a profile picture. Back in the day on Twitter, when you wouldn't have a profile picture on Twitter, you would have an egg. They would just put an egg head. So my point is, Hosokawa on BoxRec doesn't have a picture. Let's see what the odds are. I'm going to do a little bit of film study. Hosokawa is the slight dog. Ikagawa, 27 years old, taller guy. I'll do a little bit of... I'll be giving you my picks in the Discord. I got about 7 hours to do some research there, but I'm gonna get some action. Boxing fan, it comes from overseas and is well worth the wait. Appreciate you, boxing fan. Julius Brown could outbox Glanton the more I think about it. Yeah, Julius. So Julius is referring to Brandon Glanton versus Brown tomorrow in Africa. I've been wrestling with that as well. I've been watching a little bit of tape. You know, when you think about skill set, when you think about who's more well-rounded, you got to give it to Brown. You know, and he seems like he's way older. He's only a year older, so roughly they're the same age. And you think about who they've been in there with, what loss looks better? Was it Brown's loss to Beterbiev or was it Glanton's loss to CBS? But where I'm really torn at, Julius, is the inactivity on Brown, especially in this weight class, especially because they're in their mid-30s. We haven't seen Brown in roughly 2 years. They're traveling to Africa. I've been researching. I haven't been able to see if he's been injured. I haven't been able to see why he took 2 years off. I haven't been able to find out if it's been something with a camp issue. So before I, put my money on it, I sent some messages out to some mates. If anybody here knows any sort of insider information on Brown, why has he been inactive? Was it an injury? Where's his motivation at? I think that's important because 100% Brown versus 100% Glanton, I would take Brown. I don't know what version of Brown mentally he's at, as well as like Glanton as a guy, even after the CBS fight, he's all gas, no brakes. He really only has one engine. He comes straight forward in your face. Sometimes a pressure fighter who could crack like that, sometimes that supersedes skill. You know what I'm saying? And then you mix in the power and aggression versus the skilled guy, and then you bring up the fact that if the skilled guy isn't motivated and doesn't want to be there, I mean, I'm going to have to side with Glanton. But that's not my official pick yet. We'll see. These are just questions we need to figure out. When you refresh BoxRec, it forces you to sign up. Are you getting props for Glanton fight? Let's check real quick. Right now, I think I'm just getting money line. Brandon Glanton, money line. No props. Are you guys getting props? Let me go over. Sports bet, no props. Let's see. Bet365. Yeah, we're getting props on Bet365. And guys, Bet365 has the entire Africa card. So if you're really a boxing junkie like myself, and I think some of you boys are, that means that we could watch Africa on DAZN. Or if you're in the Discord, I'm sure one of the boys will screen share it in the Discord. And then you could get action on all the fights. So you can actually watch the fights that you want to pick on because there's some good odds, and I think there's a couple landslides. So Glanton by knockout is 240. Glanton by decision is 360. I mean, people who are high on Glanton are probably gonna get sort of like tempted by the knockout. But I mean, I just don't know what sort of Marcus Brown we're dealing with. Has anybody seen any footage? Is there a media day? Did we get to see a press conference? Are they in Africa right now? I haven't done my research yet. So we're just kind of touching base. We got about 24 hours. So these are good chats to have. Julius, why do you like Brown? Mateo, thoughts on Samuel Taki versus Jomani? I was looking at that fight, Mateo. Samuel is the favorite. He's 7-0. Okay, Mateo poses an important question. I'm going to be as honest with you as possible, Mateo. Last time we had an Africa card headlined, obviously I know that Taki and Fatu Monji aren't headlining. This is for a youth world title in Africa. I'm probably not going to bet on it. It's a youth world title. These are like really, really low level domestic clubbers. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I was looking at that fight as well, and then I realized it's for a youth title in Africa. I mean, these are really it's really tough to go into these fights if you're betting real serious money on to even do that. So if you're sprinkling like $10 on it, you know, do a little bit. I can't find tape on those guys. Adu, how many days a week are you running? Always 10K. So since 2019, I don't talk about it a lot, but since October of 2020, every month since October of 2020, and I'll show you receipts for this because I running outdoor miles was always kind of like something I never did. So October of 2020, I did a Facebook post and offered all my fitness people a challenge to run 100 Ks with me. And so since then, I've run 100 kilometers every month since October of 2020. So yeah, over 5 years of 100 Ks outdoor miles. Not always 10K, sometimes 5. Never under 5 though. Yeah, but I don't track my time. I don't care about how fast I go. I don't care about how long it takes. I'm at a stage after never having been a runner, like all the sports I excelled at. Baseball, I threw really hard, so I was a good pitcher, and I hit bombs, so I was a good hitter, and a good fielder, so skills. American football, I had a good arm. I played quarterback. I threw the ball. Basketball, I played 2 guard. I'm a good shooter, so I hit threes. But the idea that and when I was a kid boxing, I was a counter boxer. So the idea of being an adult and running, I hated it. I was like, what am I, a runner? I want to be the best at running? That shit's boring. So then in October of 2020, I was like, I'm 38. I was 38 at the time. I was like, I need to become a runner. I want to become what I hate. I want to become really good at what I hate. So I started running, and it sucked for like a year. And now when I run, it's very meditative. I'm kind of just in a flow state. I don't even think about it. There's so many little areas to run in Sydney where I live. So yeah, if that answers your question. David Light box circles around Glanton. On Bet365. Yeah, Bet365 has everything. Will Brown fight go the distance? It sounds like the best bet. You never know with the big boys, especially with Glanton. You know what I mean? We just don't know, man. There's a lot of questions with Brown. And guys, Brown wasn't the first choice. Wasn't Glanton supposed to fight Rocky Fielding? So what are we doing? You know what I mean? Glanton was supposed to fight Rocky Fielding. Niak says, do you think Thurman can beat Fedor? That fight will last 12 rounds. I think on paper, when you look at a world champion who's in his mid-20s, just figuring out his prime, just getting comfortable with his style, fighting a guy who hasn't been active, who's in his late 30s, fair to say he's not in his prime. And Keith, with that big of a reach disadvantage, height disadvantage, fighting at 154, I mean, it's tough to pick against Seb, but the thing is the odds are crazy. So Seb right now is $1.22, meaning you put 100 on Seb on the money line, you only get your money back plus 22 bucks. You give me a future world champion like Keith Thurman, you give me a guy like Keith Thurman who's super confident, who's skilled athletically at his best. He's one of the best in the world. You give me him at plus 450, it's hard not to take that money. So we got a couple weeks before my final prediction, but that's where I am with that. Tough fight, not worth it. I just watched tape on Dave Allen. He looked good in both fights. I do think he was robbed. Yeah, mate. I've been back and forth with some of you boys online with David Allen and Arslanbach, and I'm sitting right where I was sitting at yesterday during our live stream. My thoughts haven't changed. I think Arslanbach is very average. There's nothing about Arslanbach I like. There's no tape. There's no knockout wins of his that I'm like, dude, there's nothing that blows me away. Dave Allen, I like the idea that he's been, of his 7 losses and 4 stoppages, he's never been to the canvas. Dave Allen has never touched the canvas, never been knocked down. Been stopped, not been knocked down. Meaning that he had a couple standing stoppages, he stopped on his stool. When you look at a fighter where they're trending, when you look at motivations of a fighter, it's hard for me. And you give me Dave Allen at plus money. I think he's going to be more, how do we define fresher of a fighter? He looks fresher to me in terms of like the energy he puts forth, even his his flurries, or the old head boxing writers used to call them. Um, uh, they used to use a military word for bullets. I'll think of it. I won't use my computer. But yeah, I still like Dave Allen. That got with 11-0 in all knockouts. He fought all bums with records like 0-5, 3-15, 0-10. Fresh BX, sometimes our best bets. Yes, Fresh BX, my man, using sometimes our best bets are the bets we don't make, and I stand by that. And shout out to Fresh BX. It's very plausible, very wise words to live from. I wonder who said that. But at the same time, it's all about the psychology of betting. I think that we should always, every now and then I like talking about that, bringing that up on the live stream. The psychology of my channel is not addictive betting. As you can tell, I'm not doing live streams and I'm not marketing my channel as to get rich on betting. That's degenerate, dude. That's not what that's not what I will ever tell you. My first love was boxing. I'm a boxing fan, a boxing nerd. So when I'm betting on money, it's entertainment, and it's kind of like I want to bet. I'm actually betting on myself, which is a weird thing. It's a weird thing to say. When I'm betting on boxing, I'm betting on myself to see how much do I really know. And so when I lose, I take it personal. When I win, I don't get too hyped. I don't get excited. I actually never, I don't get happy when I win. I mean, even if it's like the biggest amount of money, it's not like I'm sitting there like, yeah, dude, I'm the man. Because I watch everything, guys, by the way. I notice everything. People who follow me, people in the Discord, people who are have memberships on the channel, people right now in the Discord who didn't renew their membership. You guys have to re-sign up. There's about 25 of you. But I've noticed people in our private group, when they're in our private group and they win, because we all win, my goal is for all of us to win, people will post certain things and try to project themselves into the social media ethos as being betting experts. You're never going to get that from me. I like betting on did I do enough research? Did I see the right thing? Or maybe I got a bad read. And we all get bad reads. But back to Fresh BX's point, sometimes the best bets are the ones we don't make. There's certain fights that are going, the two fights in Japan, guys, today I like. So I'm gonna have action tonight in Japan. There's two fights. They're kind of on paper both 50-50. I think I'm gonna take the underdog in one of them. I think I'm gonna take the favorite in the other. And if I could get method of victories on them, I'm probably gonna take them to go the distance. I'll put that up in the Discord. In Africa, there's two fights I really like. Marcus Brown, obviously, in the Glanton fight, but there's another one. And Bet365 has given us some pretty crazy options, man. Look at Bet365 trying to tap into the D-Gens. They're giving us the entire Africa card. Abdul Khan versus Agbula, Abel Dayo versus Nick Shea, Dan Aziz versus Abdesam, staying away from that. Odiasi versus Feeney. You know the one fight they're not giving us, though? You know who's on this card that were, of all the betting options, Jerly Vargas. Jerly Vargas is that kid, I think, don't crucify me for getting this wrong, but it's off the top of my head. Jerly Vargas is either Puerto Rican or Dominican or Cuban, and he's the one who optically kind of looks like Tank Davis, stocky, real muscular, wears the cornrows, and he trains out of the money team. Not a lot of pro fights, but I know that he's gone viral a few times just for a couple of his early pro fights and what he looks like and him being signed with the money team. He's on this card in Africa, but we're not getting options to bet. So let's see what the boys are saying. I read that Kiki Torres is lined up to fight Frank Sanchez. Did you guys hear that Moses swerved on Frank? Bum equipment, man. I was just reading an article today, and I was like, that's interesting. Moses was offered Frank Sanchez, and Frank Sanchez is a nightmare, dude. People forget about it. And if Kiki's taking that fight, dude, hats off to Torres. And it's another testament why he's my favorite American heavyweight at the moment. Kiki Torres, I'm real high on Kiki. Josh Edwards is slowly coming right behind him, in my opinion, in terms of younger heavyweights. I think America will be in good shape in a couple years. Kiki Torres dodges no smoke, mate. Even fighting Guido Vianella, is a tough fight considering where Kiki's pro experience is at. I think Torres is still kind of figuring out his style, figuring out his identity as a heavyweight. But the thing you can't ever say about Kiki is he does not dodge smoke. Moses Itsuama allegedly was offered Sanchez, and he maneuvered it. He was like, we don't really do all that. We don't really be trying to. I ain't trying to fight Frank Sanchez out here. A lot of people say that. That the carrot is digging the face, Johnny's saying, take it. Adu, let's get rich together. Yeah. Let's win together. Gary says, let's get rich together, man. That's yeah. I guess the verbiage changes. Yo, what's good? My brother this weekend hit his first 2 big wheel. No, what? What's good? My brother this weekend hit his first big wheel. Yes! Sal? What did your brother take? What was your brother, what was his picks? Yep, same as you. Film is key. That's right. PJ, who's the underdog on the Japan card you're betting on? Okay, so, definitely not. I'm trying to find tape on, because I'm pretty sure Long Fawn is a tie, right? This has nothing to do. Yeah, Long Fawn's a tie. This has everything to do with my statistics and winning fights in Japan. I have a high hit rate in Australia, a high hit rate in Japan. I do really well with weekday boxing. One of those sort of patterns that I've noticed over the last, we'll say, 6 months, what have you done for me lately, is that when the Thais come over to fight in Japan, I mean, they kind of get touched up. You know what I'm saying? Because the Thai culture, you know, the land of 1,000 smiles, but it's Muay Thai. You know, a lot of these Thais come from a Muay Thai background. Why is that significant? Yeah, Johnny, it's punching. It's boxing. What's the big difference? Well, the big difference is balance. The big difference is shifting weight. The big difference is sitting on punches. If you're a boxer and you've sparred Muay Thai guys, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, having a gym down here in Sydney, I've sparred so many more people down here that I know, at least in my ethos, when I worked at a public gym, were Muay Thai guys than boxers than Western boxing. They actually called me a Western boxer. You know, where I come from, man, we just box, right? Down here, because it's Southeast Asia, real close. It's only a 6-7 hour flight to Bali. My point is, when you're sparring as a boxer, a Muay Thai guy, and you're doing boxing rules, they're so used to having to check kicks and having to check elbows and having to check high, and they give you both shoulders and both hips, so they're boxing square on rather than a bladed stance. And when you're worried, same thing with MMA fighters with this point, when you're worried about checking low kicks or checking, elbows here, you're not going to train to actually dig in your heels to sit on hooks. Dig in here or dig in here. And so my point being, unless your name was Ramon Dekkers, unless you were one of the greatest kickboxers of all time, the Dutch kickboxing legend named Ramon Dekkers, who was a goddamn savage, who kind of like inspired John Wayne Parr as well, Australia's great Muay Thai fighter. But for the most part, Thai fighters aren't taught to sit on their punches because they're always kind of having to defend stuff, kick, touch. Even when you watch them sparring, they're just kind of tapping, that sort of thing. So my point is, I'm trying to find tape on that Thai. He is the favorite at the moment. He's 26-1. He's 26-1. Oguni is 22-4. 5'5". He's 28 years old. Named Rockman. I got to do some tape, guys. Coming off a knockout win over another Thai. He lost to Sam Goodman in 12. Oh, he fought Sam Goodman. He actually fought Sam Goodman. That was a closer fight than people thought. This guy's pretty damn good. I might take all that shit back. I've watched Long Fawn fight before. He's actually pretty good. I have to see who Oguni, 22-4. Damn, he's been stopped 4 times. Maybe the move is actually Oguni, and he's 37. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can get action on Long Fawn by stoppage. This might be my prop. I might find our little prop of the week right now. Okay. Yep, I found it. 275. All right, guys. I'm gonna post it. I like it, dude. I still have to do tape on this, but I watched Long Fawn fight Sam Goodman, and it went 12 rounds, and that was a lot closer than a lot of people think. The cards were 117, 111. I think 116, 114. Sam won a UD, but he couldn't get him out of there. When you have a kid who's 26 years old fighting a 37-year-old, the 37-year-old has 4 losses, 4 times being stopped. Longfon by stoppage at $275 or by decision at $3. It's a 12-round fight? No, it's only 8 rounds. Okay, that changes things as well. So it's only 8 rounds. I'll post in the Discord, boys. We got time. I got about... These fights go down in about 8 hours, so I'll let you know. Boxing fan, my film study is horrible. I like the low crazy bet yet feasible high reward. Yeah, mate. That's what that tells me you're that's called being an entertainment bettor. You know, boxing for entertainment purposes. Some guys play video games, some guys drink alcohol, some guys do a bunch of other things. I don't play video games, I don't drink alcohol. You know, I've kind of like you said, boxing fans, sprinkling a little bit of something on like $10 to win 2,000. Let's do it, dude. Like, why not? And that way you're stoked if you win. That way it keeps you engaged in the sport that you love. And then if you lose, you're not that salty. But then even there, you still have to have your boundaries. You got to make sure you're not gambling on esports. You got to make sure no shade to people who do. You know, shout out to Parlay. I think his name's Parlay Dog on my Instagram. He wins a lot of money on esports. But, you know, even with, you know, entertainment bettors, you got to have your own boundaries. Like, I only do this, I only do this, I only bet this much. If I get up, I have to, you know, I deposit it, I withdraw it, that sort of thing. So it's important to have boundaries. 8 rounds. Okay, so he just got stopped in the 6th. This 37-year-old is coming off a knockout loss. His last 2 fights, he's gotten stopped twice.